Firefighters are beginning to make containment around the smoky fire that scorched thousands of acres of Banner County. KNEB.TV News starts right now.
From your trusted source for news in western Nebraska and eastern Wyoming, this is KNEB.TV News. Presented by Platte Valley Companies, premier provider of financial services.
Hello, I'm Ryan Murphy. This is KNEB.TV News powered by Platte Valley Companies. Thanks for joining me. In our top story, fire crews were making solid progress on monitoring, maintaining, and containing the smoky fire within a footprint of a little more than 4,200 acres as of yesterday afternoon. Incident Commander Tim Grubbs reported the fire laid down overnight into Thursday, with crews patrolling and monitoring conditions around the perimeter. Public Information Officer Mike Wright with the Nebraska Emergency Management Team said aerial assets remained in the area, including 3 Black Hawk helicopters.
One of those was out of South Dakota and was not related to the National Guard, but the other 2 were Nebraska National Guard helicopters with 12 personnel helping to run those. And they were very useful, but right now, with the type of operation that's going on, they're not using them, but they're on standby, and once they feel they need them, they will bring them in. There are the small engine attack tankers called SEATs, and those are still available.
Containment as of yesterday afternoon was 28%, but he indicated that those lines were not continuous, and firefighters were working to tie those lines together, as well as addressing hotspots in steep canyons in the interior of the burn area. Grubbs was especially grateful there have been no reported injuries, accidents, or homes destroyed by the blaze. Well, the Nebraska State Patrol says investigators have arrested a Big Springs man in an investigation into reported sexual assault of a child. They say the investigation began this week when the agency received information that an employee at South Platte Public Schools in Big Springs had inappropriate contact with a student. After an arrest warrant was issued for 37-year-old Joel Foster, he was arrested Thursday afternoon without incident for 2 counts of first-degree sexual assault of a child, 2 counts of child abuse, and first-degree sexual assault by a school employee. Foster had been lodged in the Scottsbluff County Detention Center, and the investigation by the State Patrol and Dual County Sheriff's Office continues. We'll have more news right after this.
At Platte Valley Bank, we want to help you take advantage of every adventure. We know you have plans, goals, and dreams. Let us help you with them. Whether it is building, buying, or renovating, we have the home loan or home equity line of credit to fit your needs. Stop in and see us at Platte Valley Bank and let us help make your dreams a reality. You belong here. Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Life Care promises us that we are looked after and taken care of properly.
If I didn't have Life Care, I would be probably scared to death about having enough money for when I got older or when I got sick.
Moving in here was an easy decision and in fact a no-brainer. I looked at it as actually buying long-term care insurance and in retrospect a good move.
One of the things that convinces me that we did the right thing is no matter what happens, we will constantly be taken care of.
The whole thing is just vital because you don't have to be worried about what's ahead for you. It's there, it's in black and white, and that's reassuring.
This is home. It has been from the day I moved in.
Welcome back. A warrant has been issued for a shattered man charged in a stabbing attack after failing to appear for his district court arraignment. 37-year-old Joseph Littlemoon Jr. was taken into custody in June after stabbing a man with a blade that was hidden in a cane. He's charged with second-degree assault and use of a deadly weapon to commit a felony, but posted bond last month. After failing to appear for his Tuesday court hearing, a warrant for Joseph Littlemoon Jr.'s arrest was issued. Staying in Dawes County as an Oregon man who was caught passed out in his vehicle by Chadron police has struck a plea deal to avoid going to trial. Back in March, an officer noticed a suspicious vehicle and made contact with the driver, 33-year-old Alan Powley of Rogue River, Oregon. A search of the vehicle resulted in the seizure of more than 10 pounds of marijuana, including THC wax and hash. Also located during the search was approximately a gram of suspected heroin, residue amounts of methamphetamine, and several items of drug paraphernalia, including digital scales and plastic bags. This week in district court, Powley pleaded guilty to possession of marijuana with intent to deliver, and the remaining charges were dismissed. Sentencing has been set for November 8th in Dawes County District Court. And a pair of Torrington men have been arraigned in Scottsbluff County Court on felony charges stemming from an August 31st traffic stop. Court records say Scottsbluff police arrested 49-year-old Thomas O'Mara and 50-year-old John Cross after they were pulled over for a non-functional brake light. During a search of the vehicle, officers found firearms and suspected methamphetamine. O'Mara is charged with possession of a firearm by a prohibited person, while Cross is charged with possession of a controlled substance.
Fly United Airlines, operated by SkyWest with Western Nebraska Regional Airport. United is dedicated to going the extra mile for you with daily flights to and from Denver, along with a commitment to excellent service. Reserve your flight today, and remember, United miles can be earned and redeemed with your flights. While at the airport, stop and enjoy authentic Italian food at Roma Italian Restaurant. Plus, Hertz Thrifty Car Rental is there for your car rental needs. Make life easier, relax, and get on board with Western Nebraska Regional Airport.
Welcome to Kelly's, home of the Valley's best selection of wine, spirits, and beer. Whether you're brand loyal to the tried and true brew or really enjoy trying something different and new, Kelly's has something for everyone. Family owned and operated and right on your way on West 27th Street in Scottsbluff. Kelly's Liquor. If you can't find it at Kelly's, it's not worth drinking.
Logos in Gearing is the place to get all of your school spirit gear, personalized gifts, and promotional items for your business and employees, and banners for any special event. Logos is also the only place to stop for custom screen printing or embroidery. You can even design it yourself on their interactive website. Stop into Logos today. They'll design it, print it, and have it to you in no time. There's no job too big or small for Logos. That's Logos in Gearing.
This is KNEB.TV Ag News from the FNBO Ag Desk. FNBO, the great big small bank.
Chad Moyer with you here on the Rural Radio Network. It is time for our Fridays in the Field segment, brought to you once again by FNBO, the great big small bank. And here we are in Creston, Nebraska, once again visiting with Bob Larson from Larson Dairy Farms. Bob, thanks for joining us here today. There's been a lot of activity on the farm since we last visited with you. First of all, bring us kind of up to date. Over the last 5-6 weeks, what has been accomplished on the farm?
Yeah, we would have got fourth cutting hay put up here. I would have been one of them. Just finished up chopping corn silage here now, and end of this week we're going to start combining already, so doing some high moisture corn, so it's kind of getting to kind of starting to see the finish line on stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's talk about that corn silage harvest first of all. Kind of take me through it. How did the corn silage harvest go? Tell me about tonnage and quality and things like that.
Yeah, we do. It's called a unified. It's a modified BMR silage that we use for dairy cow. It's very, very highly digestible. So it doesn't ton as good, but it's very digestible to the cows. So we give up a little bit of tonnage, but we had really good tonnage this year on our corn silage. We did some irrigated and then we did some dryland, and both were right at about average of where we normally get on our corn silage. So we were really happy with the yield. We are irrigating a lot. We're dry around here. It hasn't rained very much, so we're kind of starting to see some spots really show up pretty bad in fields and that kind of stuff. But still looks like we're going to get some corn off of that, but there are certain areas it's going to be a pretty low yield on it. So.
Yeah, and that was, as far as the corn silage was concerned, that I had heard that was some of the concern was, were you going to have enough ear? Were you going to put enough nutrition into that silage pile? And you're pretty confident there is enough?
Yeah, there's plenty of energy in that corn silage, and I'm real happy with what it's going to feed out for the dairy, because that's kind of one of the best things to make milk is you got to have good corn silage, and we're going to have good corn silage this year. So.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the soybeans, kind of their status. I happen to be standing in a soybean field here this time around, and I notice it is under a pivot, but it still looks pretty green. What's kind of the status of your soybeans now?
Yeah, so these are a 3-1 maturity bean, so they're going to be they're going to be holding there till the end, holding some of the green, but. We're getting a lot of bean fill in those pods, so we're not far away from harvest, but they are holding green. So these did have a late fungicide. We're trying to keep them, getting as much of that test weight into the soybeans as we possibly can. So we want them to be, green as long as we can, but we're getting pretty good grain fill out of it, so I'm pretty happy with them.
Okay, so tell me your theory. Tell me your as much as you can the way that you go about growing soybeans. What is kind of your formula, or what are you looking for?
Yeah, so we kind of like to not put a lot of herbicides on after the June 21st. I think that's the longest day, the first day of summer. That's when all our flowers start coming onto the beans. So we really hate to, every time we stress those beans, we lose some flowers. Well, the flowers turn into pods, so we every time we knock those, we hurt them. So we're seeing a few more weeds this year. We're going to have to change our strategy a little bit for next year. We did spray a couple weeks before that, or 10 days, I think. So we were around the 11th of June is when we would have sprayed our herbicide on everything. But we've got some weeds, so it's not really what we want to see that way. So we're going to have to change, but overall, I'm really happy with how we flowered. We've got a lot of pods on the nodes. We do go through and try to keep the insects down, spray some PGRs on there, and try to keep these things as healthy and happy as they can throughout the year. And I guess I'm really happy. There's a lot of pods that showed up on the nodes, and beans look like they're going to be heavy. So I'm fairly confident we're looking at some really good bean yields out here. So,
have you had to deal with any bugs in the soybeans this year?
Yeah, we had some earlier bugs out there that we came with an insecticide and took care of those. And right now we're fighting a stem borer that's in there, and that's something we're going to have to put in next year's to address, because it takes a special insecticide to try to kill that. So. It's a specific week and a specific insecticide that you kind of got to go after it when it's a larvae, and we're gonna try to get that on the list for next year, because we are finding it out there, and whenever it hits that node or that plant there, that leaf or that stem just dies. So we got to address that, or that's one thing that could happen on these, because some of it's in the middle that if you let it get too dry, we know they're going to fall over, just because there's some of those got bored into. So we have to be right away with the combine on this.
Yep. All right. Switching gears to now corn. You said at the beginning, not far away from corn harvest. How far away are we?
Well, we're probably going to be picking by Friday. So we're going to start taking some high moisture corn out, and it's progressed very fast around here. We were black layer. Or we had a milk line yet last week, and so now we're past black layer, and we're in the 20s on moisture. So it's surprising how fast things are progressing around here.
Were you satisfied? Did the cob fill out? Did you get enough around, and does it look like there's going to be some kernel weight at harvest time?
We're definitely going to lose some test weight on it. The kernels, for the most part, we could tell early on we were really good in the season. We pollinated good. We've got the kernels. We just didn't get it to finish. So we're going to be low on test weight, I'm sure, on that. And
All right, Bob, it's good to talk to you again. Thank you so much for letting us follow along with you here this summer. Give us the updates here from Creston, okay?
wonderful. Thank you, Chad.
Again, we've been visiting with Bob Larson, Larson Dairy Farm at Creston, Nebraska, our Fridays in the Field segment here in Northeast Nebraska. It's brought to you by FNBO, the Great Big Small Bank. Here on the Rural Radio Network, Chad Moyer reporting.
I really like how our OB department takes our limited amount of doctors and turns it into a strength. Even though we only have a couple of people, you get to know them well over your entire pregnancy. We have 2 state-of-the-art labor rooms that are new with our last addition. We have a couple of very nice postpartum rooms also right here in the hospital, so they can get as much time with mom and baby as possible.
Let's take a peek at what's happening on your weekend community calendar. The Community Calendar is brought to you by Riverstone Bank. First State Bank is now Riverstone Bank. Community strong with the same people you know and trust.
You deserve to have a building that will last for generations. With more than 110 years of experience and thousands of satisfied customers, Morton Buildings is the industry leader you can trust. If you're planning for a garage, farm shop, horse barn, storage building for your RV, boat, or collectibles, there's no better time to buy. Contact your local Morton sales office or visit mortonbuildings.com to get started today.
At Platte Valley Bank, we want to help you take advantage of every adventure. We know you have plans, goals, and dreams. Let us help you with them. Whether you are just starting the business you have always imagined or looking to grow your existing one, we have a business loan to fit your needs. Stop in and see us at Platte Valley Bank and let us help make your dreams a reality. You belong here. Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
And finally tonight, Scottsbluff High School is proud to announce that senior Riley Ibero has been selected as a semifinalist in the 68th Annual National Merit Scholarship Program. As one of the approximately 16,000 semifinalists, he has the opportunity to continue in the competition for the more than 7,000 National Merit Scholarships worth more than $28 million to be offered in the spring. Earlier this year, it was announced that Ibero had received a perfect score on his ACTs. Well, that does it for us this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great weekend. See you back here on Monday.